It's Friday, May the 4th be with you, 2018. First Star Wars movie was released way back in 1977. It's been a long, long time, 41 years, since the first Star Wars movie came out. And it's so sad that to this day now, because Star Wars is such a big part, I know people that don't even like Star Wars. I have a friend at work that doesn't even like Star Wars and said, May the 4th be with me. Doesn't even like Star Wars. I don't think she's ever seen a Star Wars movie. So it's deep. Star Wars is deep. And am I going to do a Star Wars song? No, there's not any Star Wars songs. All the Star Wars songs are musical. They're just instrumentals. John Williams, great stuff though, but there's no lyrics. I can make up lyrics. I don't know. I am Darth Vader. No, see, I don't know. I'm not Darth Vader. But we're going to do the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. That's the impression that I get. And why? Because it's Friday and it's time for a song dissection. Now, this song was released back in 1997. I had a buddy named Jake who actually turned me on to these. Or turned me on to this band because he liked the music ska. Well, I had never heard of it. In 97, I was probably listening to rap and grunge in some country. No, country I think I was out of by 95. I don't remember. Oh, there's something right in my eye that's not good. But, so he was, we were in his car and he was listening to this album. I loved it. And I love this song. So from that point on, I went out and I bought the album myself. I have the cassette. I don't think I have the CD, but I have downloaded the whole album. But it's a great song. I love this song. So go and download it. It's your favorite little whether it's Google Play or Amazon or if it's on iTunes. It's a great song. Go download it. Now it's time to dissect the lyrics. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of mention of wood in here. So don't be offended. Because it's not the kind of wood that you're thinking. So just get your mind out of the gutter. Have you ever been so close to tragedy or been close to folks who have? Have you ever felt a pain so powerful, so heavy, you collapse? No. There's a question mark after that. No. You've never been close to somebody with tragedy? You've never been through tragedy? You've never ever felt a pain so powerful, so heavy you've collapsed? Collapsed, your entire soul imploded and disassembled internally. If you've never been around somebody who's had a tragedy, you're probably the person who's had the tragedy, which is sad. But I think we all know somebody. I'd like to find somebody who's never been around, whose days have all been so happy that they've never experienced tragedy in their life or anybody else's life. Maybe maybe they were, I don't know. Well, I've never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has. You've never had to knock on wood? Have you just gone your whole life living in plastic and fiberglass? I've never had to knock on wood. I have. I say stupid things all the time, and sometimes I have to knock on wood. It's like, that'll never happen to me. That could happen to me. Knock on wood. Something. I hope it don't happen to me. I've had times where I've knocked on wood even after I could say the terrible thing and then say, oh, hope that never happens to me. Knock on wood. And it still happens. Maybe it wasn't the right kind of wood. Maybe it wasn't a good solid oak. Maybe it needed to be, maybe because it was plywood. Don't knock on plywood. It'll probably break. Which makes me wonder if I could. It makes me wonder if. I've never had to knock on wood, but I know. And I'm glad I haven't yet. Because I'm sure it isn't good. That's the impression that I get. The impression that I get is you're a wuss. You think I'm not gonna knock on wood. He may hurt his dainty little knuckles. I have dainty knuckles. I cannot knock on the wood. It will hurt them. They will bruise. Maybe if they might get a splinter. I don't want a splinter. Not in my beautiful knuckles. That's the impression that I get. You're a wuss. Go knock on wood. Be a man. Be a tough human being. I guess I can't say be a man. I know plenty of women that have knocked on wood. They'll smash you right in the face. They put a board right up against your face and then smash the board into your face. That's how they would knock on wood, just to beat the wood. I know some mean women. Have you ever had the odds stacked up so high you need a strength most don't possess? Or has it ever come down to do or die and you have to rise above the rest? It's a Rocky movie. He's going to start singing Eye of the Tiger. No, he doesn't. Well, I've never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has. Which makes me wonder if I could. You can. Trust me. Try it. Go find a wood block somewhere and do this and go. Not that hard. Not that hard. I promise. It can be done. And I'm glad I haven't yet, because I'm sure it isn't good. That's the impression that I get. Now, maybe he thinks that some of the tragedies he's gone through in his life maybe aren't that bad. So he's just happy that he's gone through little tragedies. And maybe he's just kind of saying, you know, I've had a good life. So I've never really ever had to, you know, I've never had to really hope that something bad's not going to happen, because I've had a pretty easy life. It's gone pretty well. I've had some bad stuff happen, but I don't consider any of them tragedies, because I've always worked through them and I don't ever feel like they've been too difficult. And I know that people out there have gone through much worse than I have. So maybe that's what he's trying to say. Or maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I'm not a coward. I've just never been tested. I'd like to think that if I was, I would pass. Look at the tested and I think there but for the grace go I. It's like biblical stuff right there. I think, therefore, by the grace go I into the darkness that lighted, but the tunnel, the train that's coming right at me, and I'm tied to the tracks, and I'm waiting for Superman to swoop down and smash into the train. Why? Why just, you know, it'd take too long to untie the ropes. Just have him smash the train off, and then I could watch that and laugh. It's like, ha 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 ha, train off the track. No people in it. I'm not trying to get people hurt. I just want to see a train fall off the track. See, it's a runaway locomotive. Nobody was on it. And then he knocked it off the... It's my Superman story. Oh, wait. No, it's not a Superman story. It's lyrics, and I don't know how I got under the train. Might be a coward. I'm afraid of what I might find out. Never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has. Which makes me wonder if I could. Makes me wonder if I never had to knock on wood. And I'm glad I haven't yet, because I'm sure it isn't good. That's the impression that I get. Well, what's your impression of this song? Now, the lyrics aren't, they're not deep. They're not really thought-provoking. The whole thing of me digging a little deeper and saying, well, maybe he's had a relatively easy life, and he's very happy about his easy life, and he hasn't gone through big tragedies that he's really had to overcome or really tough obstacles. He's always, I mean, everybody has little obstacles that they have to overcome in their lives, and maybe he thinks that every obstacle he's ever been up against has been relatively easy. Where some other person might think they're more difficult, he doesn't. He knows that other people have gone through worse than him. So maybe that's the kind of way he's pointing to in this song. Or is it just way too, or am I going way too deep into this? Am I digging way too far? Am I going way too far into the rabbit hole and I passed up where this song actually is just, it's just a bunch of lyrics that fit together really nice and it goes good with the tune. Sounds good. But I'm going to choose to think that the Mighty Mighty Bosstones are deep thinkers. And they're just happy that their lives have not met with very bad tragedies. And if that's the case, I'm happy for them. And I hope that you have never had to face any really bad tragedies. And if you have, I hope that you've worked through them and you've come out on the other side stronger than you were before. Because that's sometimes all you can do. So, with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, who have faced many tragedies and have succeeded and passed through a lot of them themselves, thank you for the freedom.